Hey everybody, hope you're all doing good. Time for a little update on my Sam Rayburn Bassmaster Open Week. Just finished up this afternoon, and if you saw, I posted a video earlier. If you saw that, I apologize because it got cut off in the mid part of the video, so I deleted it, so I'm making another one. But anyway, we're going to go over my tournament down there this week at Sam Rayburn. And first of all, one of the things I want to say is we're filming all of my practices and the tournament for Fish the Moment the rest of the year. And this was the first one we did. I filmed all my practice, filmed all the tournament, gave a bunch of commentary, before and after each day of practice in the tournament. So we'll let you know when it comes out, but I think you might find it interesting to sort of, get into my mind a little bit about how I approach practice and the tournaments, sort of see how it unfolds. I think it probably, I think everybody can learn something from it, whether it's what to do or what not to do, depending upon the situation. But we'll keep you posted. Johnny Schultz and I are going to be doing that the rest of the year with all the rest of the Bassmaster Opens. But hey, what I wanted to do here, give you a little post-tournament report. I'm heading back to Missouri right now. Got a 10-hour drive after getting up at 4 o'clock this morning. So got a little time to sort of go over the week. But Rayburn, this is the tournament. If you saw the pre-tournament deal I did, this is the tournament that I was not looking forward to all year. And as it turned out, it sort of manifested that I was not looking, forward to it and how I did in the tournament. I anticipated the fishing to be a lot tougher than it was. I talked to several of the local pros that were in this tournament down there. All of them were saying the lake is fishing really tough right now. And I looked from past history of the tournaments they've had here this time of year. Normally it's a lot tougher than what it is. But if you saw the results yesterday, they absolutely killed them. It was like it was a pre-spawn tournament at Rayburn. 2 27-pound bags. And I think the top 40 money cut was over 14 pounds. I mean, they literally just absolutely smoked them. 27-pound bags in September. That's just unheard of. That's a giant bag any time of year. But basically what happened, there was a handful of guys, or more than a handful, quite a few guys that got dialed into the deep offshore bite, brush piles, stumps, whatever they were fishing. I wasn't really sure. And the guys that really got in tune with that bite just dominated in this tournament. But sort of how it went for me was I basically committed to shallow water in this tournament going into it. That was my plan all along. Sorry about the bumpy video, it's a really rough road here. But my plan was to fish shallow all along, and I knew that if I could come out here with just like a top 20 or something, that I'd be really happy. And I felt that if I maximized a shallow water pattern, I could probably do that. In practice, it started off tough. The first day of practice I was down here, if you saw the video that I did earlier, I nailed the stump out in the middle of the lake in 25 foot of water, bent my prop shaft, knocked the skag off my lower unit, bent my prop, and had one bite all day that first day of practice. Second day of practice, I found the area that I wound up fishing in the tournament. It was a creek up the lake, super shallow, and had a mix of shallow grass and wood cover in it. And the day that I was up there, there was not another boat in this creek, and I caught one big one. I had a couple other bites, fishing through pretty fast, and I'm pretty comfortable with reading that type of water. And I knew that if I had this area to myself, I could probably do pretty good in the tournament. I probably felt that I could get a top 40 for sure, and if I got a couple big bites, I might even make the cut. So last day of practice, I didn't do anything. So this is basically all I had going. So the first day of the tournament yesterday, I was in the last flight, and I ran up there. I get in the creek, and it's like wall-to-wall boats. Every stretch that I got bid on and every stretch that I wanted to fish had a boat on it when I got there. And we're talking about shallow water target fishing, where it's not like it's a big area where they replenish themselves. It's like you go through this area and the fish are easy to pick off. So I basically had to fall in line and just fish stuff, whatever I could fish that people weren't on. And I scratched out 12 pounds, 3 ounces. And I was super happy with that, because talking to some of the local, like Clark Ream, one of the pros in the tournament, he said 12 pounds a day would get a check here. So I'm pretty happy, running back to weigh-in. I've got a decent bag of fish, and I said, had caught 8 or 9 keepers, under tough conditions with a lot of people in there. So run down to weigh-in, and we go to weigh-in, and I'm sorely disappointed, because I get in there and it's like, I heard him announce on the loudspeaker that like 17 pounds was like 15th place or something. And I go, that's got to be some type of mistake. Sure enough, multiple 20-pound bags. They just absolutely smoked them. So, yes, last night, I was very disappointed, in the fact that the 12-pound bag that I had was just not any better than it was. I think I was in 70th place after yesterday out of 225 guys. So a lot of guys didn't catch them. And I'm in 70th, and I'm only, a pound and a half or so out of the money, so I'm okay. It's not like I, had a catastrophe or anything. I knew that if I went out today and caught a limit, got a couple of good bites, I'd be right where I need to be. Make a check, top 40, keep me up in the points for the Elite Series bid. I was in second place going into this tournament, so every fish counts. Plus, getting a check's a big deal. I mean, these tournaments are expensive to go to, and, getting the check, really helps out a lot. So, a lot riding on it. My plan today was, I felt that there wouldn't be quite as many boats up there, because I thought the area got beat up pretty bad. So I felt a lot of the guys maybe wouldn't go back today. And I knew that I had to catch a good bag, so I made a few changes. I was catching a lot of my fish, I was flipping a Zoom trick worm, and I was fishing a little mega bass Z-crank quite a bit. And I decided to upgrade, and I went to a bigger square bill crankbait, like a 3 times or twice as big. And I started upsizing my flipping baits too. And I put a swim jig on, and basically just trying to upsize the grade of my fish. But when I got in there today, the boats were back. There was quite a few boats in there, not quite as many as the day before, but there was quite a few. And I could just tell the fishing was off. I think that they'd gotten really beat up from yesterday, and I wasn't getting bit on the areas I thought that I'd get bit in. And I wound up, I caught 3 small keepers in the first couple hours. I did lose one about 3 1/4, maybe 3 1/2 pounds on the square bill crankbait, and I lost another good one, about a 2 1/2 pounder on the swim jig. And then it just sort of died. And here it is, it's 11 o'clock, it's calmed down a little bit. I've got 3 14-inchers, small ones, 3 that weigh maybe 4 pounds, and lost those 2 good ones. And there's a lot of boats on the best stuff. So I told myself, I said, there's no way, I had to weigh in at 315, so I said, there's no way that I'm going to catch a 15-pound bag in the last 2 or 3 hours in here, fishing behind everybody. So I made a decision to bail out. I ran all the way back down the lake, 30 miles, to the creek that I nailed the stump in the first day of practice, and I'd caught 1 fish in there on a swim jig. So I go back to the area where I caught the one on the swim jig, and like the 3rd cast I'm in there, a big one gets it, like a 4-pounder, maybe bigger, maybe even 5, I don't know. Saw the fish come up and get it, set the hook on it, fight it halfway to the boat, and it comes off. So it's like, God, it's like, so I've lost a 5, a 3 1/2, a 2 1/2. So I should have a good bag going. I mean, it should have knocking on the door of making the check right there. But instead, I've got 3 14-inchers in the well, and I didn't get another bite. And we've got 20 minutes left to fish. And I'm like saying, man, I'm gonna weigh in 4 pounds if I don't do something. So I tried everything, and I said, man, I'm just gonna go to the closest cove by the weigh-in, go to the back of it and see if there's something back there. Like, that I maybe can get a bite on right before weigh-in. So I run to the back of this cove that's like, you know, maybe a half mile away from the takeout, and I get back in there towards the back of the creek, and I notice there's some short grass in the middle of the cove. So I stopped the boat and I took out the Mega Bass Z crank and I started casting around, and boom, I catch a 14.5 incher, gives me 4. And you got to remember, I've got it's 20 minutes before weigh-in, so I've got like 10 minutes left to fish before I have to run back in. So I got my 4th one in there, just a little 14 incher. Make about 3 more casts, boom, catch another 14 incher. And so I've got, you know, 4, you know, just small keepers in there. They're chunky, but they're small. They're just keepers. And I turned the boat around, made a couple more casts, and boom, I hook a big one. It was a 4-pound class fish. Get into the boat. It was barely hooked. Get it in the boat, and, you know, I'm happy, but at the same time, it's like, God, you know, if I'd have just had those other ones, you know, I'd have had 2 4-pounders and 3. I'd had a big bag. So anyway, I ran back to the weigh-in, weighed in 9 pounds 11 ounces, finished the tournament with 22 pounds, and at least salvaged it. I mean, if I'd had those 3 that weighed 4 pounds, it would have been a catastrophic tournament. But anyway, salvaged it out at the last minute. I'm probably going to drop down some of the points, but it could have been a lot worse. But in this tournament, like I said, I knew going into this tournament that everything would have to line up well for me to do well. I'd have to maximize my water, not lose any fish, and I'd have to have an area that was sort of unpressured. And as it turned out, I didn't get any of that. The area that I was fishing got hammered. I lost, you know, 3 key fish in the tournament that cost me making a check. And when you're committed to shallow water in a deep water tournament, you have got to maximize your opportunities. You can't mess up at all. And that's what happened in this tournament. You know, everything that should not go wrong for you to do well went wrong. But anyway, I did the best I could. You know, I maximized what I thought I had. I thought I made, you know, the right decisions. And as it turned out, it just turned out to be a mediocre tournament. Wasn't catastrophic, wasn't great, just mediocre. But we still got lots of tournaments left. You know, just need to get back on the on the train here at the next one at Lake Hartwell next week, and get the flow going again. But anyway, that's the report. You know, long drive back right now. It gives me some time to think about it, and we'll keep you updated when the video comes out on Fish the Moment, so you can see, you know, firsthand how the whole tournament went on video. So until then, you know, thanks again everybody for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate you following me. It means a lot to me for you guys to do that. I do not take it for granted. I don't take any subscribers for granted or people that follow my channel. I really appreciate it, and just want you all to know that. So we'll talk to you later. See you.